I love teaching our first year course. I love the enthusiasm of the students and their curiosity. And so I try to harness that in my teaching, but also to make that transition from high school into university as smooth as possible. And I think I do that in with a couple of different strategies. The first thing I do is when I'm talking about law and different legal rules or why they're in place, I try and relate it to things that they'll know from their everyday experiences. The other thing I do is I talk a lot about my own experience as a practicing lawyer. So I've gone through law school, and when I was in law school, I worked in a human rights commission. I worked in a legal aid clinic. After law school, I worked as a law clerk for a judge at the Supreme Court of Canada, and then I practiced law for 3 years at a large law firm. So when we're talking about the legal system in class and we're talking about problems with the system or the way it works, issues like access to justice, I draw on those experiences in different types of legal environments to try and give the students a kind of real grounded sense of how things work in real life when the law is kind of being implemented in those various different contexts. In my first year course, we spend quite a bit of time talking about how the Constitution shapes our democratic system, but also how sometimes those rules are ineffective, and how we consider ways, well, how can we improve our democratic system by adjusting our legal frameworks in some sense. But as part of that, I'm also interested in encouraging the students to be a part of the democratic system, right? To become involved in elections and things like that. So I try and kind of work that into my message as well, because I think it's not enough just to talk about the legal rules. We have to talk about our role in promoting democracy. So that's where I do in terms of my teaching for the first year course. Our department is really unique in Canada in the fact that we have a department that's self-contained with 30 different profs who are all focused on studying what law is and what its role is in our society, what its impact is, but we all are doing it from slightly different perspectives and from different backgrounds. So in our department, we have people who are trained as anthropologists and sociologists and historians and political scientists and lawyers. And so you have this incredible diversity of academic backgrounds and a diversity of practical backgrounds where you have people who have worked as lawyers, people who have worked in the public service, people who have done work with public interest groups, and we're all in one department offering these courses that are looking at what is the impact of law in our society and how can we understand it in different ways. And I think that regardless of whether you decide you want to go and become a lawyer later in life, coming and studying law and legal studies at Carleton as an undergraduate student gives you a chance to think about law in a much broader way and to start to recognize the way in which law kind of impacts us every day. And because it gives you that capacity, studying in our program, I think, allows you to become more critical and more engaged citizens.